is speaking to the Foxes boss, Brendan Rodgers. Brendan, hi, it's Ian Stringer up in the commentary box, just making sure technically you're able to hear me.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're live as ever on BBC Radio Leicester. What went wrong today in your view? We from up here, passes going astray seem to be a real problem for you today.
Yeah, it starts firstly in with our defending. We lacked intensity and aggression. When the ball breaks down at the top end of the field, our counter pressing was nowhere near the level, and they played out way too easy. So fundamentally, our attacking play has been really good because defensively we've been strong. So that was missing in the game, and then rightly so, as you say, just our lack of precision and quality today in our passing. We actually got through their lines a number of times really well in the first half, but we either couldn't get Jamie away with that lack of quality on the pass, or when we arrived in there, we were giving it away far too easily. So that combination across the team meant that, it was a disappointing day for us.
Which isn't like you, especially when you put 5 past Manchester City last week, of course, beating Burnley, beating West Brom. Passes going astray is not something that we've become used to in your stewardship in charge of Leicester City. Brendan, what do you put it down to? Is there anything indeed you can put it down to? Because it almost seemed to be like it was catching, when one player did it, and even the players that you give the ball to and almost guarantee, like Yuri Tillemans, and then somebody else would give it away.
Yeah. Listen, it's one of those days, Ian. Like you say, we made a really good start. If we're sat here after 4 games, with 9 points from 12, we'd have been really happy. But we had a chance today to make it a great start, but didn't. So it was just we were below our level, and I think again there's another lesson at this level where if you don't perform at your maximum, and that's the type of team that we need to be at, then we can fall short. And I thought West Ham deserved it. I thought they defended well, and then they broke through. The final goal, the third goal, was a good counter-attacking goal. The other 2 we have to be better, and we gave away poor goals. One from a deep cross and the other from a throw-in. So no, but listen, give credit to West Ham. They got the points today. We were nowhere near our best, and if you're not in the Premier League, you'll suffer.
You talked about the deep cross, Brendan. That's something that we've been talking about post-match a little bit. Chris Wood against Burnley, Nathan Ake last week, Riyad Mahrez with his goal. Whilst it wasn't direct, the Riyad one, I know it wasn't direct from the cross, as it were, but the ricochet, the set piece, it comes back. Done for Burnley, again, a cross into the box. Is that a real concern for you?
Yeah. Well, we spoke about that over this last week. The analysis of, and that's why I'm saying we haven't been perfect. We've played really well and done well in games, but there's definitely areas that we need to improve from a defensive perspective, and mostly, like you say, from those crossing situations, whether it's a static position or a dynamic position in the game. So definitely an area to look at.
How much did you miss Dennis Pratt today, Brendan?
Yeah, I felt him and James. Dennis, obviously, like you say, started the 3 games and great. And his touch and craft in between the lines was important for us in those opening games. So to miss him and then not have James available, that was disappointing for us. However, we still had enough of the ball to create more problems than we did, Ian. And like I said, when you miss quality players, of course, they are a miss to your team. But we still have enough of the ball. We just lacked that precision, really, and patience in our game.
And on injuries, Dennis Pratt, I'd imagine it was his knee problem that kept him out. I wonder whether you'd be happy to talk to us about James Maddison and his omission. And of course, we're all gutted for Daniel Amati up here, who looked like he pulled a hamstring today. Yeah,
I think Daniel's will more than likely be a hamstring, so we'll get a scan on that in the next couple of days. Dennis was the knee. He trained a little bit. He was able to get out onto the grass, but he had no confidence or sort of stability in the knee. James was just a calf. He just felt tightness in his calf after the Man City game. He had trained, but didn't feel comfortable in it, so we rested him for a couple of days. He had a fitness test yesterday and just felt it just wasn't quite right. So there's no point in risking it. We get so many games, and unfortunately those two missed out.
How did you feel Genghis Under did today on debut?
Yeah, I think it's going to take him a bit of time to get up to speed, but you can see once he takes in the ball, and it gives us that option from the right side with the left-footed player coming in where he can be more direct and make those passes. There's going to be an adaptation period for him, and obviously he needs to get fitter. But he's got quality. We can see that. We've seen that in training. I think once he gets up to speed physically, then he'll be a really good asset for us, especially in those types of games, whenever teams are really sat in deep and they're sunk into their formation. We need players that can play in between those lines and with high level technique. So he'll help us in that.
Deadline day tomorrow night, Brendan. Do you envisage any business being done at Leicester City?
I don't think so, Ian. I think that the market, we'd have liked to have brought in a couple more players, but I think the availability of the players that we want and obviously the affordability is probably not there for us at this moment. But listen, I'm still really happy with what we've got. We brought in quality. Wesley Fofana, I've just seen him in training yesterday for the first time. I'm really excited about him and his qualities coming into our team. And we've got a long season ahead, but an exciting season ahead. Disappointing today, of course, but I think if you look across the team, we just didn't perform. And so we'll analyse it and then come back stronger and better for him.
I need to leave Brendan through the exit door. I'm thinking Islam Slimani maybe. Do you envisage a few going out at all? Maybe,
and I think there's one or two that will want to go on to play. But of course, it's for the clubs to find an agreement. So so there might be some movement going out, and I would say probably more out than in.
Thanks for your time, Brendan.
Cheers, Ian. Thank you.
Paul Gilmore, please, Sky Sports News.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Paul.
Brendan, you mentioned the availability and the affordability maybe against you before tomorrow's deadline. Is it what sort of percentage? Can you put a number percentage-wise on the chances of an incoming? Could anything change tomorrow?
It may do, but highly unlikely. I don't really go down the percentage route. It's they're coming in or not. So, and for us, the likelihood is that we won't have any.
Is there anything you can say on Demarai Gray? What's the situation with him?
No, just outside of the squad. So he's training Demarai, and we haven't had any sort of interest in Demarai. So he's working hard to get himself back into the squad again. The squad has started the season well, so that's been difficult for him. But yeah, he's still very much in the squad, and unless something changes in the next 24 hours, then he'll continue with his work here with us at Leicester.
Thanks, Brendan.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you.
James Nancy, please.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi.
Is it fair that after such a big performance like last week and such an impressive performance, sometimes it can be hard to follow that on with a back-to-back display? Sometimes performance can fall a little bit flat. Do you think that is fair? And if so, is that a sign of the challenge you've got to just get the team to be that little bit more consistent?
Yeah, I think that was what I said at the beginning of the season. I think the team has shown great potential last season, and I think you see again this early part of the season, the potential that's in the squad. But what we need to improve on is that consistency, and that consistency will come with time. So yeah, I think the performance and result last week was very, very good. So we showed our capability. West Ham come, and of course they know that they're playing against what they think will be a good side. So it wasn't complacency from our perspective. We're not good enough to be complacent. We have to be on our game every single game to get results. And today, when we're off it, they capitalised on that. So yes, that's a challenge, is to increase the consistency. But where I'm lucky is I've got a really honest group of players who want to be better and improve. And we'll go away, we'll analyse it. It's a shame, obviously, they're away international. But hopefully they'll come back safe. We'll analyse it and then look to put it right in the next game.
Jordan, back row, please.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Jordan.
I think that's 3 games out of the 4 now in the Premier League that you've conceded inside the first 15 minutes. I know you've said previously that starting strongly is one of your sort of big things that you drill into the players. Is that a concern for you at the minute?
Yes. Yeah, I think there's a number of items defensively that are that we need to improve on, and I think our lack of aggression today, in particular in the first half, really started the process for us today. We, like I say, it's that mentality to not concede, to get in contention with people, get up to people. So yeah, I would agree, Jordan. It was not a good start for us, and something that has crept a little bit back into our game. Whenever it certainly wasn't something that, or certainly one I felt that we eradicated.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, is that it? Thank you.
Okay. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Thanks.